All right, welcome everyone to today's explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here because today we're putting on our detective hats. We're going to step right into the shoes of a project manager who is facing a seriously high-stakes puzzle straight out of a PMP exam scenario. So, if you love dissecting a complex problem, figuring out the absolute best methodology, and breaking down exactly why certain strategies work when literally everything else fails, well, you're in the right place. Let's crack this case wide open.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. The Project Management Dilemma, a real-world crisis.
Imagine this. You've just been handed a brief for a massive new initiative. The stakes are incredibly high, the ground beneath you is shifting, and the project sponsor? They're looking right at you for a flawless execution strategy. Read this prompt carefully with me. A company is preparing to launch a project involving completely unfamiliar technology. The customer is anticipated to request numerous changes during the project lifecycle. Your project sponsor emphasizes the absolute importance of delivering customer value incrementally and frequently, all while keeping the project within a strict approved cost baseline. So, the ultimate question is, which approach would be most effective in managing this incredibly high volume of expected changes? It's a total pressure cooker, right? Unfamiliar tech, endless changes, strict budget, and they want constant results.
To solve this, we've got 4 prime suspects. Option A, time boxing. Option B, integrated change control. Option C, risk register. Or Option D, quality control measurements. Take a second here. Based on that intense scenario we just reviewed, I want you to mentally lock in your guess right now. Which one is the hero of this story? Do you have it? Okay, let's investigate.
Moving right along to Section 2, analyzing the constraints, deciphering the clues.
To truly crack this thing, we've got to isolate the clues. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how these 4 specific constraints paint a very clear picture of the project environment. We're dealing with unfamiliar technology and numerous anticipated changes. Right off the bat, that tells us a purely predictive, traditional approach, it's going to shatter under the pressure. But we also have to deliver value incrementally and frequently and maintain a strict cost baseline. Our source material points out that this specific environment is best addressed using a hybrid, a combination of agile and predictive methodologies. Basically, we're looking at a highly adaptive situation.
Which brings us to Section 3, the winning strategy, unveiling the hero.
We need an approach perfectly suited for a highly adaptive, frequently changing environment that still actually respects boundaries. And the winner is Option A, time boxing. If you lock that in, fantastic job. You successfully navigated a maze of very distracting project management terminology. But, just knowing the answer isn't enough. In this explainer, we want to fully understand the why. Why is time boxing the absolute ultimate tool here?
Let's look at the definition straight from our source. Time-boxed periods are specific durations during which the team works steadily toward the completion of a goal. When using an adaptive life cycle, which we've already established we need, these time-box periods are specified for releases, waves, and iterations. Think of it this way. Instead of looking at this endless, terrifying mountain of unfamiliar technology and constantly changing requirements, you slice the work up into manageable, fixed durations to completely tame the chaos. Let's move to and see how this builds a concrete Agile development flow. First, you document the requirements in user stories. Then, just prior to their development, you prioritize and refine them. Finally, you actually build the product features using these time-box periods of work, which are typically called iterations. This creates a rhythm, right? It allows you to directly address the sponsor's mandate to deliver that incremental value frequently, absolutely regardless of how often the customer changes their mind about the overall scope. So, Section 4, protecting the fixed budget. The Agile surprise.
Now, I know exactly what some of you are thinking. How in the world does a change-heavy approach protect a fixed budget? Honestly, it sounds like a recipe for running completely out of money. Well, consider this quote from our source material. It completely flips traditional budget anxiety right on its head. It states, when functional product increments are delivered frequently, the risk the project budget will be exceeded is low. That almost sounds totally counterintuitive at first glance, doesn't it? But actually, scratch that. It's a brilliant realization about how Agile projects typically operate with fixed budgets.
And this brilliantly illustrates why the sponsor is actually incredibly safe. Under traditional budgeting, if you run out of money halfway through, the project just terminates abruptly, and the customer is left with an incomplete, totally useless product. It's a complete loss. But with Agile time boxing, if the project runs out of budget, sure, it can be terminated at any given moment. However, the customer will still have the latest functioning product increment that was delivered in the most recent iteration. The budget is strictly controlled and the value is permanently secured along the way.
Let's wrap this up with Section 5, Why Other Approaches Fail. Interrogating the suspects.
Any good detective definitively rules out the other suspects, right? So why were the others incorrect? Let's look at option B, integrated change control. Its function is to address scope creep, but why does it fail here? Because as our source notes, it is typically a very lengthy process. It absolutely does not accommodate the rapidly changing requirements and the utmost priority of frequent incremental delivery that our scenario demands. Option C, the risk register, that simply documents risk management outputs. It has very little to do with actively handling frequently changing requirements. And option D, quality control measurements, they are necessary to document the results of control quality activities and testing, sure, but carrying them out simply doesn't address the essence of our question, embracing frequent change to deliver incremental value. So the crucial point is, only time boxing survives this interrogation.
Which brings us to the end of our investigation today, leaving us with one incredibly important, provocative question to ponder. Are your project management tools built to resist change or embrace it? In a world where unfamiliar technology and constant pivots are just the norm now, trying to build rigid walls is literally only going to lead to failure. Time boxing isn't just an exam answer, it is a mindset that allows you to turn chaos into a totally predictable rhythm of value delivery. I highly encourage you to apply this time boxing mindset to your own real-world projects this week. Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer, and I will see you next time.